PTF and Vanessa Ryle here at Santa Anita. And this is it, folks. We are ready for our best bets on this BC Bulletin show, penultimate BC Bulletin show. Vanessa, where do you want to go with your first best bet?
Well, first of all, I'm sad that it's our penultimate BC Bulletin show. What fun. Can't we do this every week in this setting? But no, let's do, this is it. Like, less joking, more focused time now,
okay,
right?
Fair enough.
Straight in. Juvenile turf sprint for me. First of the Breeders' Cup races. Unoriginal, but all aboard Big Evs. I think taking on the likes of Crimson Advocate, Cherry Blossom for Aidan O'Brien. I think Big Evs isn't our standard 2-year-old sprinter from Europe. Obviously, in the past, we would have had the traditional cliched issue of a lack of gate speed, etc., etc. But with Big Evs, we don't have that problem. For Mick Appleby, Tom Marquand in the saddle, we know he's going to be jumping out of that stall like a bullet, like the Americans do. We know that on times he's clocked at the likes of Royal Ascot, but also Doncaster on different ground. He's got serious speed throughout the race. There's a stat going around about the fact that his first furlong at Royal Ascot was the same time as Crimson Advocate's first furlong, obviously out the stalls from a standing start, yet he completed the race quicker. I just think that we're getting a bit of a value price about him because people are fearful that he's a European 2-year-old sprinter. So it's Big F's for me to get the Europeans off to a belting start. What about you?
I like the idea. I'm going to leave that race for best bets point of view because I do think, while you're probably right about being on the fastest horse, turf sprints can be such a laboratory for chaos. I'll give you my first one in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. I'm surprised there's still nearly even money in some places around about Tamara by the off on the toad. This is a horse that's going to probably be 2 to 5. And at that price, maybe that's short enough or whatever, but at 4 to 5, I still think Tamara offers some value. She's by far the fastest horse in the race. Much has been made of her recent appearances on the track, maybe not being quite as strong as they were a month ago, but I think that might also be by design. Richard Mandela, a master, trying to have her ready to peak on the big day. In Papa Mandela, I trust. I think Beholder's Baby is going to be one of these stories at this year's Breeders' Cup, and I'm happy giving out Tamara as one of my best bets. Where do you want to go next?
I want to fly on to the Juvenile Fillies turf, please, and I will be cheering on Tamara as well. And as you say, I think she's going to be a great story for the week for people to really latch onto for the weekend. So looking forward to seeing her, but we're rolling on to the Juvenile Fillies turf. And again, we've got 2 excellent European chances in here. Carla's Way taking on Porta Fortuna, but I'm going the way of Porta Fortuna, please, for Donica O'Brien, looking for a first Breeders' Cup victory as a trainer. Asheen Murphy in the saddle is about 11 to 2 anti-post currently. I just think that she offers, I know you're with me on this, we really like the angle of a horse having been targeted at a race like this from a good while out. And we know because of her ownership, because of her connections through the owners to America, that this was always going to be where they wanted to end their season with her. I think, to be honest with you, judging by talking to the owners as we have, the Cheveley Park was very much a bonus, which is a strange thing to say about a Group 1 race like the Cheveley Park. I don't think they're fearful of her getting the mile here around the track here at Santa Anita. I think that should be fine for her. And I just like the fact that she has shown such consistency all year. I'm not worried about her in any way. I think you can pick holes in the Carla's Way form from the Rockfell, whereas I just feel like Porta Fortuna is a more rock-solid option. I don't think, from a betting point of view, she's going to let you down. I think she's going to be there or thereabouts fighting it out in the finish, and I hope she'll win it.
I'm not going to make this a best bet, but I will just piggyback on and say I think that 11 to 2 is a great price. And if you're interested in USA-style exotics, you've got a couple of different ways to go and use her, Porta Fortuna, with the likes of Gala Brand, who I think is a long shot, and She Feels Pretty for Cherie DeVoe. When we talked to Cherie DeVoe on the first one of our diaries early in the week, you could tell it was one of those funny things where you could tell she almost didn't want to, with words, communicate the full enthusiasm she felt when describing that last She Feels Pretty workout. It was one of these vibes, sometimes you just get vibes.
Like it.
Big positive vibes there. But Porta Fortuna, the pick for me, but not a best bet. My second best bet, I'm going to go to the Juvenile, and I'm going to go to Locked. Now, I hesitated with this
It's
just because
so hard. So hard.
There's so many good horses, but the more I look, rewatching the last race, I just think the horse did really well with a difficult journey, being wide. And if you look at the sectionals and compare them to the previous runs from Luck, this is a horse that I just believe is moving in a very positive direction and is going to do well again. And I think at current odds is still the value of the race. Make my second pick lock. Won't be easy with the likes of Timberlake in there trying to bring Sexy back. Sorry, I had to. And the local California. I know, awful. The local California horses much prefer Muth to Prince of Monaco. Prince of Monaco would be on the fade list for me. I think those other three are live. So maybe that's it. Exotically, the best bet is Lock, but maybe exotically, it's Lock with Muth and Timberlake, and that's your Breeders' Cup Juvenile done and dusted. Time for your third best bet for Friday.
Just found this really hard. It obviously comes in the juvenile turf. Again, over the mile, there's obviously time for the Colts, and it's just, I flip-flop between River Tiber and Unquestionable, and then I bounced around to horses at bigger prices as well. River Tiber is obviously your favourite currently, 5-2, the pick of Ryan Moore. So that's the angle in with River Tiber. He's this precocious 2-year-old in the early stages of his career this season. And then, of course, his profile has become less sexy because of those defeats to Van Dijk. But Van Dijk is, one of the best 2-year-olds in Europe. Well, is probably the best 2-year-old in Europe. We've got River Tiber stepping up to the mile, and sort of same rules apply to Porta Fortuna. I don't think that's going to be an issue. But the more I think about it, the more I like Unquestionably.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like a reversal from what I've been saying all week to you. I know. It's just, again, it's sort of it's a bit like the Porta Fortuna thing. It's his consistency. I think River Tiber, the more I've watched back his races, like he was a bit keen when we last saw him when he was beaten at Newmarket. And then I'm thinking, meanwhile, Unquestionably, I'm pretty confident he's going to get the mile. He's got the benefit of Frankie Dettori. And, Ryan Moore can't read a crystal ball. He could have got this wrong. And I think at the prices, you're looking at 4-1 about Unquestionable versus the 5-2 about River Tiber. And I think that gap is too big. I think as a result, if I was, suggesting a best bet and you have to look at the prices, Unquestionable is my selection over River Tiber.
Well, we're going to go directly oppo here. We'll have to come up with something appropriate to wager on this one. In the UK and Ireland, you don't have these clocker reports like we have here. The clocker reports are such a thing in American racing, particularly here at Santa Anita as we sit above Clocker's Corner. A horse's price can move so much based on the grade the horse gets in a workout. Without having that at private training centers, you can hear whispers or whatever, but what you also have is being able to sort of follow the storyline throughout the year is our proxy for a clocker report. And when I look at it through that lens, here's River Tiber, so well regarded earlier in the season, not really on the Breeders' Cup radar until, a month ago, whereas Unquestionable had been on it the whole time. And then not only did they decide to run River Tiber here, again, to me, that's like a great clocker report. He's kicking down the doors at home.
I get your angle. I see where you're going.
And then Ryan to choose the horse, that's the cherry on top of the sundae. So that is why I'm going River Tiber. And we'll,
Hey, look, and I'm totally aware that if River Tiber wins, I won't be in any way surprised. But I just think at the prices right now, people have latched on to that. And as a result, Unquestionable at 4-1 is a nice price.
I'll tell you what, in any case, I think we should box that exacta, and I don't mind throwing Mountain Bear in there a little bit as well. Seems like forgotten in a lot of corners, but that speed figure, I'm a speed figure guy. That speed figure from Dundalk, proven around the bend, closing sectionals there. I'm still not convinced this isn't just going to be a Ballydoyle 1-2-3, though I also like Endlessly for the home team as one to mix in with your exotics. There you have it. That's day one, Breeders' Cup Friday at Santa Anita. PTF and Vanessa Ryle will be back with one more Breeders' Cup Bulletin tomorrow.